5K in 1:58:36. And Emma Bates, the American, trying to make some headlines here in Boston, as we're now down to 7 women in this lead pack.
You almost never see 7 this late in the race together. You might see 3 of them battling it out, and one of them maybe 30 meters in front of the other 2. That's what you normally see. But the slow early pace has led to a barn burner of a pace here late.
Well, the last 1,500 meters was the fastest of the race here on the women's side. And we got some true track talent here as well. Emma Bates, no stranger to fast 10Ks. Hellen Obiri, of course, a world champion, Olympic medalist at 5,000 meters. Salpeter, who was a European championship medalist at 10,000 meters in recent European championships. Such a strong field of women here getting into the closing stretches of the race.
Salpeter's run 4:11 for 1,500 meters to touch base on her speed. And so we're definitely going to see some surging going on here. And the question is, who can respond? Who's got something left? Who's got the courage to just lay it on the line? Still pretty far from home here.
Atsedebesa of Ethiopia in the back of that pack. Next to her was Jocelyn Jepkoske of Kenya, the New York Marathon champion from 2019. But it's Emma Bates, who was the number 2 American in her last race when she ran the New York Marathon. You know, Larry, she actually started her professional career living and training in Boston, then made the move out to Colorado. So what a meaningful moment for her here, coming in the closing stretches of the Boston Marathon with a chance to win it all.
You know, she's a Boise State graduate in the state of Idaho, more the northern part of the country. Not known for great track programs out there. They have a solid team, but they are not used to, like Oregon, frequently turning out world-class runners. And through her diligence in the last 8 or 9 years since she graduated from Boise State, this is the reward she's getting for it, is this success. She's been injury-free going on now for quite a period of time where she's been able to have continuous training. This is a big surprise, though. There's no question.
Well, for Bates and Obiri, this projected finish time of 2:22:20 is in rarefied air. Neither of them have run that fast. Bates with a lifetime best of 2:23:18. Obiri in her first marathon, 2:25:45 through those hills and challenges of the New York Marathon last fall. You see Ababel Yeshine of Ethiopia here on the left side of your screen, the runner-up in Boston last year. And Bariso, the fastest of them all, that 2:14 lifetime best. We saw the hills take it out of the world record holder on the men's side. But Bariso, for the moment, still in the mix here in the women's race.
This must burn in the soul of Yeshine after what happened last year. She came so close to victory. She was right there. I'm sure all these thoughts are flooding through her mind right now. I'm with everybody. I've got something left. I've got to marshal my resources. And you keep asking yourself at this stage of the race, what have I got left? What should I do? When do I move?
And let's check into the finish line with Ali Feller with the men's winner.
Evans Chabet, our returning champion, our 2023 Boston Marathon champion. This morning, you said, "It's my day." How did you know?
Because I train very well. So I told my coach, training is good. So don't worry, because 2022 or 2023 is different. Because last year I ran here, it's not rain, but this year a lot of rain. So I'm happy because I'm winner for 2022 or 2023. I'm happy.
We're happy for you. We saw you and your friend and training partner, Benson Kipruto, talking a bit out there. What was the race plan today?
I'm happy because I'm staying to Benson Kipruto, Amos Kipruto, because I train together with one coach, one management. So I'm happy because I read 41K. I told Benson, let's go. Because he's my friend, he's like my brother. So I'm happy. Yeah.
Evans Chabet, two-time Boston Marathon champion. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
And while
you so
we
much.
saw that interview, the disaster there in the center of picture with Abibel yesterday, last year's Boston Marathon runner-up, getting tangled up and to the road surface she went. Now she's going to try to get back into it, but disaster there. And let's see now also a change at the front. Let's go back here a moment ago to see that fall.
Oh, you know, that's what happens running close. That's why you see in the earlier, if you've watched our whole show, people got their feet clipped and they turn around and give a dirty look or say something to somebody. That's exactly what you don't want to do. You don't have to be that close. And you're concentrating so hard, you sometimes get a little too close when you're tucked in behind someone.
And
Tragedy. All that training, and you just get 6 inches or 8 inches too close to somebody. Really tough. The women are just torching this course now. 4 minutes, 56 seconds for the last 1,500 meters. They've been averaging about 3 minutes and 24, 23 seconds for the last 21 kilometers of the race per 1,000 meters. And we still have, at this late stage of the race, this is like an OMG, folks. It really is. Oh, my Lord, look what's going on. We still have 5 athletes battling it out, and they're taking turns surging. Notice Bates has let the others kind of pull away. She may not be able to hold what they're doing, but the pace is quickening for these ladies.
And give credit where credit's due is yesterday after falling to the road. You see Obiri put her hand out again. It's like, don't fall on my back of my heels again yesterday. Who looks at her watch, but she's back for the moment. That is Jocelyn Jakoske of Kenya that's back there in 6th position, trying to urge herself back within contact with the leaders that are now down to 5.
It is, to me, pretty amazing that Yeshane still got back up to this pack. I mean, that is such a rarity at this late stage of the race when the athletes are moving so quickly, and nothing got injured, as my sister would say, praise the Lord. And so look at this. This, if she gets up to win this is be like somebody, Lassie Viren, falling in the Olympics and getting up and winning the 10,000 meters going back to 1972. Yeah. Yesterday was only 4 seconds back last year. Don't think that this hasn't, every time she's gotten up to go for a training run, thought of how close she came last year. And it might be the discipline she said to herself when she fell. I can't let them get away. Forget this. I'm okay. And you think every positive thought at this point in the race that you can.
And Larry, this looks like a 10,000 meter track race now. They are all up on their toes. The arm movement is deliberate. The pace is quickening. And no one at this point has control of this race. Down to 5 women in this epic women's marathon at the 2023 Boston Marathon, nearing 2 hours and 10 minutes on the clock.
I can't ever remember seeing 5 athletes this late in the race together, Paul. Sometimes you get 3, and occasionally you'll have 4 with 4th person within striking distance. Emma Bates is losing a little ground here as the pace continues to strangle the other athletes.
So she falls off the back a little bit. Still a little bit of racing to go. Perhaps she is feeding off this crowd that, and we've covered these races a long time, Larry. We've always had good crowds in Boston, but they are so deep and so enthusiastic.
I agree.
On this day.
I think that's a very good point, Paul, and that is correct. I was just debating whether to make a point there. Some stages they're 3, 4, and 5 deep, and they're not even near the finish line. I mean, you don't see that. You'll see 2 deep, and you'll see what you see right there. But we've seen other segments where, look at the depth. This is sensational. Boston, you've done yourself proud as usual. The last 1,500 meters, they're tearing along at 4:49 pace. And if you're talking 1,000 meters, the pace really is just amazing. They're under 3 minutes and 20 seconds per 1,000 meters here. For a late stage in the race, hats off to these ladies. They are killing it out there.
And while Bates remains in that 5th position, you see her on the bottom of the list. She's still within contact of this group that includes last year's runner-up Yeshine, who fell to the street just a few minutes ago. She's there on the right side of your screen. The world champion many times over, Hellen Obiri, making her early case for being one of the next great marathoners, and only her 2nd marathon appearance in Boston here. Salpeter, bronze medalist at the World Championships in Oregon last summer in the white over red. And on the inside, Bariso now moving up a little bit with that 2:14.58 she ran in Valencia last year. Now the national record holder of Kenya and the 3rd fastest marathoner in history.
Ranked number 3 in the world was Bariso last year with her 2:14. I mean, that really stunned the running world in the marathon level. That was just amazing. And you're right to point out Obiri here, just doing so well. Look at Bates not let everybody get away. There's the resilience that she's shown in some other races in Salpeter. It's just, she's tough as nails, uses her arms well to help carry her, has a bit of an accentuated, look at her. There's only one other woman that moves her arms quite like her. And they are flying now. They are moving. When you accelerate, you use your arms more. That's normal, and that's what you're seeing at this late stage of the race.
Well, for this camera shot too, Larry, we can see there is now a defined difference between this quartet in front and Emma Bates back in 5th. Well, we really don't know here until we get up alongside whether she's a few strides behind or losing a few strides with everyone. But, she's, I guess, just trying to wait this out, perhaps to see if another of these athletes falls off the back, and then she can use that as a key to try to get back into it.
She hasn't lost contact, but at this late stage of the race, ideally you want to be no more than a step or 2 or 3 behind. Salpeter on the right in red and white wound up ranked 8th last year in the world. So the talent is really out there. Bariso ranked number 3.
Well, Hellen Obiri took a look over to the rest of the field, and again, now about a half stride or so ahead. Here comes Yeshine on the right shoulder of Obiri, hugging that line, which will eventually lead them down and under Com Avenue, and then that right turn on Hereford.
Yep. Bates still hanging on there. I would say that she is not a favorite to finish in the top 3. We'll have to see if she, let's just wait and see what the story is. Look at this crowd. I mean, all through the city here has just been amazing. And even in the suburbs, just look at this. But 4 ladies all monitoring right now, everything from arm action to breathing. I know this sounds crazy, but I just saw Yeshine actually blow her nose. And what I'm saying is you're clearing your nostrils. You're trying to get your breathing as rhythmic as you can. You're getting all distractions out of the way.
40 kilometers into this race for the women's title at the 127th Boston Marathon. 2.195 kilometers to go, and 4 women all in a battle for this 2023 title. And with the Sitco sign, a very famous, iconic view here in Boston. If you've ever watched a Major League Baseball game from Fenway Park, you can see it out beyond the left field fence. And you see Emma Bates now with that view of both the sign and that quartet of women in front of her, starting to lose ground ever more so slightly here as we close into the final stretches of the race. They pass through mile 25 there, that banner in the background.
The last 5K, 16 minutes and 8 seconds. A very fast, solid pace for these ladies. I'll tell you, watching the leg turnover, I'm impressed with Yeshine. She's comfortable out there. It's like she's really not working as hard as she's might have to at this late stage of the race. Look at her.
And Obiri, I think, trying to put on a little surge and looking over her shoulder to see who covers that move.
Yeshine does.
And Saltpeter, maybe of the four now, can she stay with this group? Boriso, Obiri, and Yeshine. And listen to the crowd embrace them here.
They are dropping Saltpeter. If the pace does not slow down, I think she's going to have trouble catching up a bit. See Obiri, that's exactly. Obiri with her speed looks around and says, who did I drop on that move? I look left, I look right. Whoops, there's Yeshine. Oh my goodness. And so you see here, just clear her face and her nose. It's just a tactic. You open up the breathing passages as much as you can. You focus on what you're doing. Who's left? Who's got speed? Who do I have to worry about? That's what's going through their brain right now.
Well, there's really no sense you can give it and do it justice with this camera angle, but Boriso almost looks like she's in an all-out sprint trying to stay with Obiri, as Yeshine is now falling off the back in third.
Look at Obiri. When you've got 5,000-meter championship speed, you are very fast at shorter distances. When you're that way late in a race, that speed makes a difference in winning and finishing second or third. Not surprised. Her training has improved from her last race. When you go back and look at Obiri's past couple of races, she has faded in the marathon late in the race a bit. That gets into your stamina training when you're successful at 5,000 meters. You do a shorter amount of kilometers per week than normal. Now, you can see her. She's got other gears left here, and she's trying to split herself off from Boriso.
As you all look back to fifth position with the American Emma Bates, now benefiting perhaps from two runners, Saltpeter and Yeshine, who are falling off the back there, and there's still that opportunity to think about a podium finish perhaps, but there's not a lot of real estate left here as they'll come under Palm Avenue and into the closing stretches of this 2023 Boston Marathon.
To show you how Obiri, who's kind of cut her teeth, so to speak, on 5,000-meter running and even shorter distances, there she's pulling away. When you crank it up and up and up, it just breaks people. You can cover two moves or three moves, and then if somebody's got another gear, it's really difficult to succeed. But going back to 2022 at the World Championships, she got the silver medal at 10,000 meters. That speaks about the shorter abilities that she's got and the training she's doing out now in Colorado. She's moved here to train in the United States.
Looks over both shoulders, and now the right turn onto Hereford.
Look at that stride. That's a track stride. That's what that is. It's not short, choppy. It's a long, powerful stride that she's got.
Boriso now on Hereford, trying to close that gap. Saltpeter, Yeshine, and no sign of Emma Bates, who is back in fifth. And with that crowd now 8 or 9
Great
deep.
angle.
You see Bates there in the background here. Here comes the turn onto Boylston Street for Hellen Obiri.
Now, she can let her stride out even more because it's slightly downhill. She's going to eat up the roads here, and I think even maybe lengthen her lead a bit.
Up ahead of her is the para-athlete Elamine Shentou from Morocco, who started with the elite men, as Obiri now being embraced by this crowd. And remember again, Larry, she wasn't afforded an opportunity to even be in this elite field until there was a late scratch in the race. That door opened, and now opening up her stride, Hellen Obiri trying to close in on not only her first marathon win, but an epic marathon win in Boston.
If you're an elite athlete coordinator in Boston, Chicago, all the rest, you might invite 25 athletes, let's say, men and women. You'll invariably get 2 or 3 that are not able to compete, and you keep asking people in. Only one woman dropped. Hellen Obiri was the replacement.
And how about seeing 5 women on Boylston Street within a block of each other here? But ahead of them all, Hellen Obiri, the world champion in the outdoor track and field, indoor track and field, world cross country, and now will be an Abbott World Marathon Major winner as she's directed into that finisher chute. Bariso will go to the other side, and just needing an opportunity to race, Hellen Obiri is given that opportunity and takes full advantage as she will come to the line and celebrate with a huge smile a Boston Marathon victory.
I can't believe it, she says. Fantastic. 2:21:45, probably something like that unofficially.
And Bariso finishing second, Saltpeter third. That'll round out the podium. Yesterday, who had that disastrous fall, still comes back to finish in fourth. And the American Emma Bates, look at that smile on her face as she will celebrate in fifth place overall as the top American. The bell sounds, and why not? That's the closest ever get between the top five we've ever seen in the history of this race.
Absolutely sensational times. Some personal